Hi, everybody, and welcome. You've joined me for a terrific webinar. We've got absolutely brand new content. This is 10 Secrets to Successful Email Marketing and how to get the most out of your campaigns. My name is Ken Countess, and I'm Managing Director of the Countess Group. We're based in Orlando, Florida, where today it is sunny. We're about to hit 90 degrees again. It's hard to believe that it's November, but it is. The Countess Group is a marketing and communications consulting company. As I mentioned, we're based in Orlando, and we're full service. We provide strategic marketing and communications planning for you. Of course, email marketing is one of our specialties, and so you're in the right place if you're looking to learn more about how to make the most out of your email marketing campaigns. We also work with our clients on social media marketing. If you need help with your website, maybe it's not performing as well as you think it should, you can contact us for that. We also handle search engine optimization, pay-per-click advertising, PR, video, just about anything you need related to improving your position in the marketplace. A little bit about my background. I spent over 2 decades at a company called Motorola. You've probably heard of it. I've also worked at Marriott, a company that's now owned by CVS called Caremark, and I'm still an equity partner in another marketing firm called Ascend Marketing. They're based in the Dallas, Texas area. And some of our clients over the last 15 years have included companies such as those you see on screen, Marriott, Verizon, Alcatel-Lucent, the Tampa Airport, and so on. But mostly we work with small to medium-sized businesses and nonprofits, just like yours, just like mine. We're a company of 6 people, and you know, we know what it's like. Even if you're sitting at a big company, big nonprofit, you never really have all the staff you need to get everything done that you need to get done, do you? You may be a solo practitioner, in which case you're doing the marketing, the finance, the accounting, the operations, servicing the clients, and so you find precious little time to do all of that to help your organization grow. And so as a consulting company, we can help you fill in the gaps if you need somebody on a full or part-time basis to help you get things done. I am Master Certified by Constant Contact. There are very few of us in the world with that designation. We were also designated as one of their All-Stars for the most recent year. And just in the last month, we received the Leadership Award. There were only 4 of those awarded over this year. And so I'm really delighted and honored to be one of the 4 people in the world that have received the Leadership Award from Constant Contact. Here's our contact information, and as you can see, not only are we very active in email marketing, but we're also very active in social media as well. And I'd encourage you to follow us, connect with us on each of the social media channels that you see here, those that you are active on as well, because you'll find that we're constantly posting marketing information that will help you as a for-profit or as a nonprofit to get more out of your marketing efforts. And I recommend that you really do connect with me. This is our Facebook company page, facebook.com/The Countess Group. We have over 6,000 people following us on that page. If you're on LinkedIn, I recommend that you follow me there as well. We're nearing 4,000 people following us on LinkedIn as well. So, you know, these are some great tools that will really help you to further your marketing efforts. By the way, you'll be getting a copy of everything that you see on screen, so you may be tempted to take a lot of notes, and I encourage you to take some notes. But I'd also remind you that you will be getting a copy of everything that you see on screen. By the way, if you're not yet using Constant Contact, just in the chat window, put in a note there that you can text my name, Ken, to 99000, and you can start a free trial of Constant Contact. Good for 60 days. It's fully featured, and I think you'll get quite a bit out of it. So you can do that from your smartphone. If you're on the webinar live, you can go ahead and do that. If you're watching it on a replay, you could do it there as well. CAN to 99000, and the sign-up will take you less than a minute. So what are we going to talk about? Well, you're going to see some pretty surprising facts about email marketing. I'll be talking about the 10 best practices. You may actually call them the 10 secrets to effective email marketing. We'll talk a little bit about and how you need to use both. Now, I'll also say that email oftentimes is considered a part of social media because it's a way for you to create a conversation, create a dialogue with your audience, and that's really what it's all about. And then we'll talk about the next steps. You know, what is it that you really need to do? So let's talk about email marketing. What really is email marketing all about? Well, it's about delivering professional communications to an interested audience. And this is really important because someone can easily report an email or spam as spam or delete them. We need to be sure that the individuals that we're adding to our list expect to receive a communication from us. And so setting this expectation is vital. Containing information that the recipient finds valuable. Just because you have permission to communicate to someone doesn't mean you'll be successful with email marketing. You also need to be sending the right information to the right people on your mailing list. So knowing what your audience needs or wants can be tough. Is it promotional in nature? Is it informational? Is it a combination? If you're not sure, you may want to ask your customers, or if you're a nonprofit, your donors or your volunteers. Survey them. Ask them on social media. Or when you or your staff have interactions with them in person. Many times, this will lead you to understand that you may need to segment your list to send different messages to different audiences. And I'll talk more about that later. So ideally, and for sure, you want to look great in any inbox. With so much email being read on mobile devices these days, cell phones and tablets, you need to create an email that will look good on a laptop, a desktop, and a mobile device. Okay, this is going to be a very interactive event. So one of the things I'm going to do during the course of the session is ask a few questions along the way and suggest that you participate. So here's the first one. I'd like you to tell me how you learned about this webinar. Was it via email? Was it social media? Was it word of mouth? Or was it a combination of the above? So go ahead and click one of those 4 buttons and hit submit. We'll give you another 5 seconds, and then we'll close the poll. Okay. And here's what you said. And not too terribly surprising, over 80% of those on this webinar found out about it through email, and another number also had a combination of the above, and the rest through social media. So if nothing else, this ought to show you the power of email marketing and what email can do. And we've got a full house on this webinar, and most of it is because of email. So email is a great way to bring people to you, people that have already purchased your product or service or donated to your cause. Remember, you've invested money to acquire these customers or donors or volunteers, and they've already had a positive experience with you, hopefully. And it's much easier to ask for revenue again with this audience than bringing brand new prospects along. And if you do a good job building your list, and much more on this later, you'll be happy that you'll have quite a few new prospects on your list, and they need to be nurtured until they trust you enough to spend some money or make a donation. Email is an amazing way to continue to touch those prospects over the course of time until they're ready to buy. And one of the reasons your list is so valuable is that you can't predict when someone will be ready to take that step with you. And if you deliver valuable information over the course of time, more prospects will trust you. And email really is the most cost-effective way to communicate with your potential buyers and donors and prospects over time. I'd like to get a good feel for who's on the webinar live here, so I've got another question for you. Let me know, is your organization a business-to-business entity, B2B? Are you B2C, business to consumer, or are you a nonprofit? Select one of those three, please, and hit the submit button. Okay. Thank you, everybody, for letting me know. It looks like a solid half of those on the webinar are doing business with other businesses. About a third as a business to consumer, and a good, healthy number of nonprofits are with us as well. And welcome to everybody. So the other thing I want to mention is, and I've mentioned already, that email really is amazingly cost-effective. And it can help you drive revenue from your communication. Whatever communication you choose to promote, push someone into the trusting stage with your expertise or solicit a donation. So why use email? Well, email really is hard to beat. Email marketing is so powerful. Email is where everyone is these days for everything. For updates from your bank or service providers, to messages from mom or the kids, and of course promotional messages from businesses that you subscribe to and frequent. Take a look at this. 88% of us regularly check email on our smartphones. That's more than social media or videos. 91% of people check their email daily. Email gets delivered over 90% of the time. A text on Facebook today only reaches 2% of your fans. The number is higher if you include photos and video, but a text post only reaches 2% of your Facebook fans, where your emails will get there 90% of the time. And email marketing has 3 times the conversion rate of social media. For every dollar spent on email marketing, there's an average of $44.25 in return on investment. Here's another question for you. I want to ask you, how do you use email marketing today? Are you using it to sell products and services, to promote your events, to educate your audience, to stay on the radar screen so your audiences remember you? Or is it all of the above? I'll give you another 5 seconds, and then we'll close the poll. The results are pretty interesting. And here we go. Let me share the results with you. And I'm very happy to see that for most of you, you're using email marketing for all of those above. Staying on the radar screen, promoting events, educating your audience, and selling products and services. That's really great. I'm going to give you some great tips, they're coming up now, on how to use it more effectively. So my question to you is, you really do need to harness the power of the inbox. Are you ready? Raise your hand if you're ready. See, I told you this will be an interactive webinar. I see about half the people have raised their hands. The rest of you need to raise your hand too. Are you ready? Let's go. Okay, here we go. Here's best practice number 1. First impressions matter. And when someone opens up your email, what they see is going to matter. And when someone opens up your email, what they see is going to determine what they do next. The chances are you'll want them to read your newsletters or announcements and take a step. Maybe you want them to visit your website, register for an event, donate to your nonprofit, or try a new product. And this is where a beautiful, professional-looking email designed to drive action is crucial. People make snap judgments about whether or not to read your emails based on a quick glance, because All of us get a lot of email. I get over 600 emails a day. We choose an email message, we give it a 2-second glance, and then decide if it's worth our time. If it is, we keep it and read it. If not, we hit the delete key, and we send the email to the trash folder. So I want to show you the difference between a regular email from your own Outlook, Gmail, or Yahoo account, and then one sent through an email service provider like Constant Contact. An email from a service provider looks better and gets you noticed. You can use it to feature your brand's logo and colors and include graphics that will capture your reader's attention. All of this, including the graphics, comprises email content. With a combination of text and great images, you'll get through to your audience. And from a purely legal and practical perspective, an email service provider will help protect your messages from being considered spam. You can also get more email delivered to your customers and prospects' inboxes using an email service provider. And for all of the reasons I've just listed, I want you to understand that you need to use an email service provider to do email marketing the correct way. Should your first impression look like the one on the left, or should it be the one on the right? Check out that email on the right. The colors and graphics make the message eye-catching and more professional looking than the one on the left. It also makes the call to action much more obvious, and that's what we are after at the end of the day with our email marketing: actions. Here's why an email sent through an Outlook or a Gmail or Yahoo just doesn't work. There's only a limited number of emails you can send at one time. There's no formatting control. Your list has to be broken up, and it's also more susceptible to filtering. You can't brand your email. You leave yourself open to potential complaints that you're a spammer. And very importantly, too, there's no tracking. You can't report your email results. So that's why you need to use an email service provider. Best practice number 2, what's the #1 app on cell phones? It's email. More than half of all emails are opened up on a mobile device. So we're going to talk a little bit more about that. The fact is, more people own a cell phone than a toothbrush. I don't know about you, but to me that's pretty scary. The thing to know about the fact that emails are opened up on mobile devices means that you've got to take a different strategy with email than you did about a year ago, when not nearly as many people were opening their emails on smaller devices. The truth is, marketing has changed a lot. And let's face it, some of the change is obvious, but there are more subtle changes that affect you and your ability to grow your business using all of the new online tools. And that's a basic shift in the way you may find and keep customers with today's business climate that actually works more in your favor as a small business or a nonprofit. Take a look at this model. It's a typical sales funnel using traditional marketing methods like print ads, radio, TV, direct mail. We're all familiar with this model. The problem is that with this traditional funnel, it's expensive. These ads cost a lot of money, and it's hard for a small company or an organization to compete in this landscape. So let's look at what new marketing tools have done to the funnel. When you begin to use new marketing tools like email marketing and Facebook and LinkedIn and Twitter and online and offline events and surveys, you reach out to people you already know. On the left, the funnel, it's all about reaching out to strangers. New marketing is about reaching out to people that already know you. You reach out on a regular basis with information and offers that are relevant to your contacts. And it turns out that if you do it right, and after today's session you should have a pretty good idea about how to do this, you'll actually begin to convert more people than you are reaching because of the nature of social media's digital word-of-mouth power. You grow your base and your business through repeat business and referrals. And at the end of the marketing day, it turns out you keep a lot more of your existing customers or donors or volunteers, so you don't need as many strangers. And it costs less and takes less time and energy, making it much more efficient for a small business or nonprofit organization. And this is what we call flipping the funnel. It's really a fundamental change in the way most small business owners think about their marketing, but it works. In fact, we see it working every day. And it all starts with a strong and growing email list of potential and existing customers or supporters and volunteers. You start with people already on your list. Now, how do you make the most out of your existing list while growing it? We used to tell people things over the backyard fence. Now we tell everyone, our family, our friends, our colleagues, our clients, even our BFFs, through social media channels, review sites, and email, which is the original social media. It's less about spending all of your time and money and energy finding new customers and much more about fully engaging your existing happy customers and making it easy for them to tell others. The changes have leveled the playing field for smaller organizations like yours and mine to compete with the big boys. The point I'm making is that social media really is the new word of mouth. Social media helps to kickstart word-of-mouth marketing because your messages have the chance to be amplified and shared. Social media marketing will bring you new customers and donors, supporters, volunteers if you're a nonprofit. It'll bring you repeat business from your current customers and referrals from your happy customers. So let me ask you, is this beginning to make sense? Why social media is important? If you think so, raise your hand in the control panel. This really is a part of your entire business. Social media, the social visibility it gives you, and how your business and customers engage with each other really help make up what we call the engagement marketing cycle. So let's look at the engagement marketing cycle. Let's talk about how email and social engagement work together in the day-to-day life of your business. You see, repeat customers are much more likely to buy more. More than 80% say they're more likely to make additional purchases online or in store as a result of targeted emails. Over 70% of consumers are more likely to make a purchase based on social media referrals. That's that word-of-mouth marketing. And email marketing, it really, really works. 82% of business-to-consumer businesses say their loyal customers are the #1 way to grow their business. And this is why you need to stay in touch with those customers. Use email marketing because we're always in our inboxes. There are some other presentations I do where I talk about the number of times in the course of a day that people check their email inbox. We go into a little more detail on it, but the number is over 30 times a day. People are checking their email. It sounds extraordinary, but that's where we are. Just think about your own behavior. What email marketing does is automate best practices for you, and it really does make you look great. There are reusable, easy-to-use templates that reinforce your brand. The emails appear to be addressed only to the recipient. And email marketing services enable you to add subscribers, handle bounce backs. The unsubscribes are handled automatically. Nothing you need to do there. And it ensures that email delivery, over 90% of the time your email will get delivered using an email service provider. We're going to talk about tracking results. Very important. Jamie asks if it's the 30 times between mobile and desktop or just mobile. It's overall. And if you think about this 30 times a day notion, think about somebody who's sitting in their office. Maybe they're at their desktop computer all day. They go into the office maybe from 8 to 5, 9 to 6, whatever the hours happen to be. and they more than likely are checking their email every 15 minutes or so. Just think about that. 15 minutes, that's 4 times an hour times 8 hours in a day. We get to 30 times a day pretty quickly. Here's best practice number 3. Growing your list is critically important. And it's all about how and where you ask. And yes, you do have to ask people to join your list. The fact is that 30% of email addresses go bad every year. There are lots of reasons for that, among them that people change jobs, they change email service providers, they may go in their personal mail from AOL email to Gmail, for example. They may, as I mentioned, change jobs. That's a different email address. They may move to a different location. They may change service providers. Maybe they go from Comcast to Bright House, as an example. Well, when you do look to grow your list, it's about the importance of permission. Permission is a critical part of the email marketing process, and there's legislation in place in the U.S. and Canada that governs how we can email customers and prospects. You've got to ask for permission in all touch points. And this could be a checkbox when someone is buying from your website, or you simply ask a question in a face-to-face interaction. And when you do ask for permission, make sure you set a couple of expectations. Be straightforward, let them know what to expect, and then follow through on that. And you always have to give your contacts an option to unsubscribe. Treat your subscribers like you like to be treated in an email relationship. Make sure you're not emailing too often. Set good expectations, and all of this will be easy. One of the best ways to get someone to subscribe is a dedicated area of your web page or a standalone page on your website that tells people why they should want to subscribe to your list. Tell them what's going on. Tell them what they should expect to get. Always offer an unsubscribe option. By the way, you have to do that by law. Collect email addresses at events, at speaking engagements. Add a QR code. There are lots of ways that you can ask people to join your list. And here's something new, by the way. This applies to people in the United States using Constant Contact. You can easily set up a text to join where you can quickly and easily inside your dashboard, your Constant Contact dashboard, create a keyword and then have that keyword set up to where if someone adds that keyword and sends that email to the number 22828, they can automatically join whatever email list you'd like them to join. And don't forget, you have to give them a reason to join your list and let them know what to expect. You know, there are examples of incentives that you can offer someone to subscribe to your mailing list. It may be to get ongoing information related to your products or services. Maybe you have a VIP program like we do. Maybe insider news or exclusive access. Maybe you can offer people who join your list an ebook or a white paper or a guide, or keep them up to date on your mission if you're a nonprofit. And you can always offer friends and family discounts. The number one reason why people unsubscribe is that the content is irrelevant to them. So make sure that when someone agrees to join your list, that the content you do provide them is relevant content. Here's best practice number 4, and it's really an extension of what I just mentioned a moment ago. You want to focus on being relevant. You know, people join your list not to learn about you. It's really about what you know or what you have access to. We'll talk in a few moments about how much is enough when you send an email. And if you're not sure about what kind of content, you can turn questions that you get every day into content for your newsletter. And we'll spend a few moments on images, because images really are content too. My main message to you here is to write for your audience. Don't write for you. When you're thinking of content that you'll create from scratch, remember that you're not writing for yourself. You're writing for your audience. So make your messages relevant, short, and focused. Your email shouldn't be telling recipients every single thing that you do, and it shouldn't include extraneous information. You can make it relevant to your audience by thinking about the conversations you've had with your clients or customers and members after an interaction. You may want to jot down some ideas that can help you expand on a topic. People interact with email because they're interested in what you have to say. But 38% of email recipients will unsubscribe if they think the content in your email is boring or irrelevant. And when someone unsubscribes, you won't be able to communicate with them again. 32% send irrelevant content to the spam folder, which could impact how email providers like Gmail or Yahoo sort your future messages. Let's talk about turning your interactions with your customers or clients or members, supporters, and volunteers into content for your email. Think for a second about the last interaction that you may have had with someone at your organization. What questions did a customer or client have? What information are people requesting about your nonprofit? Can you turn an answer to their questions into an email? Here are some great examples. One may be, what's the simple way to pick the right wine? And the content may be red or white. Here are 5 simple wine pairing tips. Or, how do I make sure my pipes won't burst this winter? The content could be 5 ways to protect your pipes from freezing this winter. So you can see it can be fairly straightforward. Here's best practice number 5. You have to remember that more than half of emails are read on an email device, rather on a mobile device. And our research shows that an email with one link in it gets the best click-through rate. You want your audience to take an action. So use a link to make that clear. 2 links are okay. But once you get to 3 links, the click-through rate really begins to decline. And any higher than 5 links in your email means that people are less likely to click anywhere in your email. Remember, people spend very little time with an email. So if there's too much in there, too many things to click on, they won't click on anything. So try to stick with 1 or 2 clicks and keep them high in your message, so people don't have to scroll down to take an action. And for your mobile readers, make sure you're keeping your messages short and your calls to action above the fold, meaning your readers don't have to scroll down to get to your most important content. Here's a great example of one of our clients. This is Steve Vaughn, Panoramic Photography. And Steve's emails go out twice a month, and he keeps them really short. There's an image at the top, a quick headline, 1 short paragraph, and you could see the 1 link in his email highlighted, and that's it. He gets very high readership and engagement and people clicking through to his website. I mentioned that Steve sends out his email twice a month. I have a question for you now. How often do you send out your emails? Once a month? Once a week? Once a quarter? Some other period? Or you don't yet use email marketing? Go ahead and select one of those 5 and hit the Submit button. Give you another 5 seconds, and then we'll close the poll. Okay, and here's what you said. The majority are sending out once a month. There are quite a good number that are once a week and once a quarter. There are some who aren't yet using email marketing. Hopefully that'll change by the end of this webinar. For most types of businesses, once a month works really well, but depending on your industry, that could be very different. Variety in responses. So let's now go to best practice number 6. And this has more to do with content. Images are content too. 90% of the information processed by the brain is visual content. So, this may be a relief for people suffering from writer's block. Great content doesn't have to be written at all. Visual content like photos and videos and graphics and word images make a huge impact in an email inbox. 90% of information processed by the brain is visual. 2/3 of us believe images are a very important factor when selecting and purchasing a product. So you can use photos to show off your products or shots from a recent event. And you can link to videos to show your organization in action or a product demonstration. Word images, a brief phrase, statistic, or quote over a background image is a great way to share information in an eye-catching way. We all know a picture is worth 1,000 words, and in your email you can communicate through images as well as text. Turn your images into clickable links so that when your readers click on your images, they'll be directed to the action you want them to take. Just make sure that you include a text link to the same location, because about 2/3 of email readers will not see images by default. Photos are a frequent and necessary piece for visual content, and sometimes you may find you need a photo that you don't have or you can't create on your own. There are a variety of stock photo sites where you can search for just the right photo that fits your needs. And here are a few places you can go to find some images that work really well. It might be tempting, but it's never a good idea to use just any image you may find through a search, including sample stock photos with a watermark on them. There may be copyright issues associated with those images. They belong to somebody else. When you're using stock photos, you purchase the rights to use the photo, or in some cases you accept a free download and agree to certain credit or conditions. And fees can vary, so shop around for what feels right for you and fits your budget. Best practice number 7 has to do with being mobile friendly or mobile responsive. Remember that being recognizable is critical to success in email marketing. So make sure your emails look like your website or printed material from a logo and color perspective. Get a mobile-friendly template that matches your message, and make sure your brand is consistent everywhere. These are examples of what some mobile responsive templates look like, and you can use any of the 400 or so mobile responsive templates that Constant Contact provides free of charge inside a paid subscription. And you can also get a mobile responsive template that matches the look of your website from Constant Contact, and I'll tell you how to do that a little bit later on. In your email, make sure you're consistently using your logo and the colors that you use in the rest of your marketing so that you're immediately recognizable. Use great images of your business, products, and people so that your audience can easily connect with what your organization does and with who you are. And make sure that you use consistent language across all of your marketing so people won't be confused. Here comes best practice number 8. Subject lines must fulfill a purpose, and they need to entice your readers. You can follow a simple recipe for success, and it looks something like this. Use a single column template. Don't load it up with lots and lots of images. Use fewer than 3 images and less than 20 lines of text. People don't take the time to read anymore. So keep it short and sweet. And don't use any more than 3 to 5 links. You saw earlier that 1 or 2 links is optimal. More than 5 links and people won't click on any of them. Make sure the action you want them to take appears on the screen of the device that they're viewing your email on. We call it having your call to action above the scroll line. Here comes best practice number 9. So how do you win the battle of priorities and get more people to stop and open your email. Think about how you sort your email, or if you're on Facebook, think about the news feed. Typically, when you open up your email, and think about what you did this morning, you start at the top of the list and you go down, sorting by who it's from. Who the email came from turns out to be the most important part of winning this battle of priorities. You do it based on who. So it's important for you to be recognizable. And you need to really exercise care and consider how you're identifying yourself across the channels you're using. If you send your emails as Jane Doe, but your Facebook page shows up in people's news feeds as Famous Cookies, people may not make the connection. Just be sure you're consistent with the name you use, and ensure that it's the one that you'll be recognized by, so that ultimately your readers and followers will stop and open your email, read your posts, because they know they're going to get something of value and relevance from you. Now, as a small business or nonprofit, you don't have time to do things that don't work. So when it comes to your subject lines, you want to get into the habit of optimizing your subject lines to get the best results possible for your marketing efforts every time. And I'm going to show you a few ways to do that. Approximately 1/3 of people decide to open an email based on the subject line. So the subject line really needs to be a standout subject line, whether they're reading it on a desktop computer or a smartphone or tablet. There's a lot of competition for our attention these days in our inboxes, but after today's webinar, you'll have some tricks of the trade you can start to use on your next email campaign. And after a few campaigns of implementing what I'll show you here today, you'll really get to be a pro at getting real measurable results for your marketing efforts. Your goal is to pull them into your email. Now, you can highlight relevance, usefulness, value, educational value at the opening of your message to catch their attention, or you can switch it up and do something unexpected or non-traditional or unusual. Use pre-header text or teaser text as a hook or a second chance to draw your subscribers into your email after they've considered the subject line, because this space allows for slightly more words. This is where you want to take your subject line a bit further by explaining or elaborating on your subject line. Remember, this is seen specifically on a mobile device right below the subject line, even if it's invisible to a desktop viewer. So customize the message to match the interests of your audience. And here's a pro tip. If you're segmenting or categorizing your lists, which is a good marketing practice, use relevant personal interest information that you've collected over time and position your subject line to match those interests. Also, match your message tone to reflect your brand. Is your brand informative, sassy, funny, quirky, a thought leader? Incorporate that element of your brand's personality into your subject lines in just a few words. So here comes best practice number 9. We're going to talk now about tracking results. And tracking results is so critically important to you. Knowing what information you're getting matters. You want to focus on the click-through. And you want to use this data to make your next decision. We're here because you're interested in using reports and analytics for your business, I'm sure. In fact, we surveyed small businesses, and what we found was that 3/4 of small businesses believe reporting and analytics will give them a business advantage. And that's true. And they also believe that this data can help retain existing customers or donors or volunteers. 2/3 of organizations surveyed see reports and analytics as tools that they can use to improve retention. So although reporting and analytics are seen as an important tool for growth, not everyone has had a chance to sit down and learn more about these tools. Almost 2/3 tell us that they'd like to learn more about how to use data to drive business and donations. And that's what we're going to focus on right now. We're going to talk a little bit about open rates. This is the data that's tracked by embedding a small image into an email. And when those images are activated in an email client, it registers as an open. Sometimes if the image displays in a preview window and the recipient doesn't read it, it'll still trigger as an open. And on the flip side, you'll have many subscribers who have image blocking enabled on their email program or device that will read your email but won't download the images. So it's important to make sure that you're not deleting the subscribers on your list who appear not to open your emails, because it's likely not the case. Click-throughs are really, really important. They are the best measure of success because you've nurtured the contact through opening and reading of your email, and now they've taken an additional action. And measuring that action is critical because it helps you understand what works and what doesn't in the context of your email marketing. It's very helpful when you can tie the goals of your campaigns to someone clicking on a link. It helps you as a marketer understand what people are interested in or not. Remember, set links apart from other text and make them bigger in font size. You want someone to be able to use their finger on a phone to be able to click the link. And shares are very important too. They're great because you know that your content is hitting a mark with subscribers, and you may identify some raving fans. You also want to pay attention to the opt-outs and the bounce rates too. When you receive a copy of this presentation, you'll get a chance to review all the data. Did you notice that with campaign reports, if you've checked your account, that they have one thing in common, and that's click-throughs? No matter what you're using, email, events, surveys, offers, promotions, donations, social media, you can measure click-throughs. And this lends itself back to what I just had been talking about, which is measuring actions. Click-through rates measure exactly what actions your audience is taking. This metric tells you so much. It gives you an idea of what content people like and what products they're interested in, which calls to action are working for you, which keywords appeal to your readers, and what multimedia is interesting to them. What you ultimately want to do with click-throughs is drive people back to your website, your social networks, to your business, to your location. The campaigns you need to create, you need to have calls to action that take them to your properties so that they'll continue to buy, learn, read, watch, comment, and engage with your business. You're keeping business top of mind and growing your relationships. Research has revealed a phenomenon that we call the superfan. These are readers that can be relied on to consistently engage with the emails they receive. And here's what we learned this year about superfans. The majority of email opens come from a very small group of readers. 38% of all opens come from just 5% of people opening. And over half come from just 10% of people opening email. And this isn't uncommon. There are many examples of the influencer concept, that a small number of people in a social network, for example, can be leveraged to influence a high number of people. This is an argument for smart segmentation. Don't simply send everything to everyone, but recognize you've got a core set of superfans who contribute the lion's share of your opens. You should consider sending the most valuable emails to them first as an exclusive sneak preview to make them feel special. And since the majority of emails are opened by these superfans, it makes sense that the lion's share of actions are taken by them as well. We found that 1/3 of all click-throughs action decisions were taken by just 5% of clickers, and 44% of click-throughs come from just 10% of clickers. The key point here is similar. It's an opportunity to put a special offer in front of the super clickers, either by sending it to them ahead of the pack or by selectively sending them something that's just for the most loyal consumers. Everybody wants to feel special, and you have the ability through smart segmentation to do this for your consumers. Bottom line is, it's all about getting the cash register to ring. It's about getting people to take action on your email so that they buy your products and services, that they make donations to your organization. It's all about the click. That's how you know that you've got people interested and engaged. Now, I want to take this moment just to let you know that we have an all-day Email Marketing Academy coming up. It's a Constant Contact certified trainer. That's me. And I'll be doing this all-day event on November 19th in the Orlando area, near the Orlando airport. And you can get more information about that class at that URL you see at the bottom of the screen. It's bit.ly/November19 class. November abbreviated, of course. I'm going to put that URL in the chat box right now, so you can just click it and you'll be able to get more information about it. A special window will open up, and that'll give you some more information about that class. It's all day. It's next Thursday. If you're viewing us live, next Thursday, November 19th in the Orlando area. We have other email marketing academies already lined up as well, and you could go to blogs.constantcontact.com to see those. And we also have quite a few events, classes that are not yet set up. They're not showing up on the calendars just yet. We're just finalizing preparation. But we do have multiple classes coming up in January and February as well. So to summarize, I want to just give you some tips once again on how and why you want to get people to pay attention. There really are 4 reasons to pay attention to your email. The first is that you want them to recognize who the sender is. You want them to know who sent it. You've got to have a compelling subject, because that answers the question, is this worth reading? Make sure you think about when you send it, because part of your success in email marketing has to do with when it was received. And always make sure, too, that you have easy share options so that your audience can forward your email on to their friends and colleagues. Emails with social sharing buttons increase your click-through rates by more than double. And if you're using Constant Contact, you can add the share bar to the top of your emails, allowing readers to post a link to your email on their social media profiles. And don't feel shy about asking people to like and share and retweet and pin. And then add social media buttons that link to your business's social media profiles. These buttons are a nice visual reminder for them to click and follow you online. Your audience has a lot of influence via word of mouth, and you can get your promotions in front of more people and their friends and family if they help spread the word for you. So when thinking of subject lines, think small. The inbox will typically only show the users the first 9 to 11 words of pre-header text or any words above the logo. Take control of that fact and put a few power-packed words into a block above your company logo, which should always be placed at the top with a clickable link to your website. Keep your subject lines between 6 and 10 words. Don't forget about mobile users, because more than half of email is opened up on a mobile device. iPhones, for example, cut off a subject line at 32 characters. So make sure you've got the important stuff at the beginning of your subject line. And here are some additional tips. Follow these to make sure that your emails don't get flagged as spam. Make sure you're not doing things we've found spammers do in their emails. These are things that will likely get your email sent to the reader's spam folder. So don't use these typical spammy words. And when you get a copy of the slides, the first bullet here contains a chart that you can refer to, which contains the words that spam filters are trained to block if they catch them in subject lines. The best time to send emails in order to maximize your open rates? It really depends on what industry you're in. We've analyzed millions of emails across 33 different industries to give you insight. If you're looking for a place to start, nearly 2/3 of industries had a best day to send on Mondays, including accountants, consultants, financial advisors, fitness and spas, real estate, and others. Tuesdays came in number 2. And surprisingly, early morning send times perform best across the board. 5 a.m. to 8 a.m. is the sweet spot. So what does this mean? What could it mean for you? Well, what we found is it could mean a 6% increase in open rates. 6% just by scheduling your email to go out at an optimal time. So timing really is everything. How often you should send it out, when is your audience most likely to read it? The best thing to do is test, test, test. More than 3/4 of us prefer to be marketed to via email marketing. So knowing those top tips is important. That's what will get you results. A recent article in Forbes said that customer acquisition via email has more than quadrupled in the last 4 years. Let me repeat that. Customer acquisition via email has more than quadrupled in the last 4 years. And customers who come to businesses through email tend to shop more and spend more. Email has undergone a big renaissance. The big retailers are now using email marketing in ways that they didn't even think about before. You can go into most any store these days and they'll ask you for your email address. And it isn't because they want to save paper. They know that email marketing has a return on investment of over 44 to 1. And it starts at such a low price. If you're not using email marketing today, and I know there are quite a few on the webinar that are not, it starts at only $20 a month, and there's no contract. Where else can you get such a great result and response to that kind of an investment? I mean, wouldn't you invest $20 a month to grow your business with a 44 to 1 return on your money? This is one of our clients. They're based in Daytona Beach. They came to one of these events back in November of 2012, waited about 6 months, and then in May of 2013 decided to start using email marketing and grew their business 6-fold in 6 months. They went from a $50,000 a year business to $300,000 by the end of 2013. The only thing they changed in that 6-month period was they started using email marketing and got an additional $250,000 in sales in a short amount of time. And today, their business is over $500,000 a year. So it works. So what are your next steps? Well, small business marketing really is about delivering on the promise you make when someone engages with you. You get measurable results. You can tell exactly what's going on with every email that you send out. It really is easy to do. You can do this with one login, with one toolkit. The fact is that as a small business or nonprofit, that you have an advantage. your customers and donors and volunteers. They already love you. So there are just 3 simple steps to get started. If you're using email marketing today, take advantage of the tips that you've learned so far. There are more coming, by the way. If you're just getting started, get a contact list together, even if it's just 5 people. It's more about quality than quantity. And create and send 1 campaign. Just hit send and watch what happens. And then do more of what works. Everything I talked about is intended to help you grow your organization. Strategies, tips, ideas that you can leave here and try. And you can apply these ideas to any system or marketing tool you want to use. You don't have to be a customer of Constant Contact. Even if you use a competitor, all of the information provided here today will still help you. And that said, I want to make sure everybody here knows what Constant Contact is. If you're using Constant Contact today, go ahead and raise your hand. Use the control panel. Yeah, it's a pretty significant number of you. Yeah, thank you for raising your hand. I encourage those of you who did not have your hand raised to speak to me afterwards. Send me an email. I'm confident that based on what you've learned today, you'll start to use a system that works really well. If you're using one of the competitors, we'll help you get started with Constant Contact. We'll upload your list for you. We'll create a template that matches the look of your website. You see, Constant Contact is an online marketing system with tools to help you manage mass communication and marketing campaigns easily and without spending a lot of time or money. You can send email newsletters or announcements of any kind, run your own special offers or deals, get feedback, run an online survey, and you can promote and manage your own events. It's all together in one place and works very closely with social media channels like Facebook and LinkedIn and Twitter. And it's also designed to help you look good on a mobile device. Constant Contact's the market leader, if you didn't know that already, and their support is outstanding. So, of course, I'll encourage you to use Constant Contact. It's only $20 a month. I want to ask you right now one more quick question. If you're interested in learning more about the Constant Contact Academy that I spoke about, go ahead and click the yes button, or if not, just go ahead and click no, thank you, and hit the submit button. If you're interested, we'll send you some information about it. No sales pressure at all. Okay. I'll give you another few seconds here, and we'll close that out. If you did respond yes, then we'll go ahead and send you information after the webinar so you'll get a good feel for what that academy is all about. It's really a terrific thing. Everything I talked about in today's session is really intended to help you grow your organization with strategies and tips that you can leave here and try. It's so easy to use. I'd encourage you to check it out. If you're already using it but haven't tried events and registrations or feedback and surveys and so on, I'd really encourage you to do that because they are truly very easy to use. And if you aren't using it yet, if you just want to get a free trial, it's fully functional, fully functional. Just go ahead and you can sign up using that link below. Just text my name, Ken, to 99000. It's in the chat box as well. So at this point, we have time for questions. If you're ready, you can sign up for a new paid account at toolkit.today, not .com. That's a special URL that will enable you to join our VIP club immediately. And if you do decide you want to sign up for an account, we have something called a Kickstart package, which enables you to get a free mobile-friendly template, a contact list upload, and a voucher to attend a premium webinar free. you would use that promo code ALE Kickstart. And if you already are a customer and you'd like a mobile-friendly template created for you, there's a discounted price on that, only $79. So that's a great deal, a sweet deal for anyone who's attended today. Here's what that website match template looks like. Imagine that's your website on the left-hand side. We'll create an email template that looks just like your website on the right. That's what that email campaign template looks like with your logo and your color palette and clickable links and all of that. So again, go to toolkit.today if you'd like to start with a new subscription that will give you that template and the list upload and access to a premium webinar. And you would use that code ALE Kickstart at checkout. That's at the redeem code section on the very last page. So I encourage you, get started. If you're not using email, do it. If you're concerned about being locked into a contract, there's no contract. It's all month to month. Constant Contact has people manning the phones 7 days a week. They're one of the only email marketing services that has live telephone support every day of the week. It's not a situation where you're working on an email and you need help, and now what do? Well, you can pick up the phone and call somebody, and you'll get somebody live, and they'll help you with that email live while you're on the phone. And there's a money-back guarantee. It's a pretty sweet deal. So we've got a few moments. If you're looking for a free trial, go to trythetoolkit.com. Or, as I mentioned, you can text my name to 99000. So we offer a lot of free help. You can do it yourself. You can ask us for help. We'd be very happy to take your call and respond to your email. If there's something we can do to help you be more successful, we'd love to do that for you. We'd encourage you, if you're using Constant Contact, to join our VIP club. We've got over 1,700 members already. It's free to join. There are no membership fees, and when you join, you get access to up to $2,000 in free services, which include a complimentary review of your monthly newsletter. Just send an email to me at that address, kc@thecountessgroup.com, and we'll send you an email that shows you exactly how to join. If you'd like to join us for any of our other upcoming classes, go to bit.ly/marketing classes, and that will give you an opportunity to sign up for all of our events, whether it's the Academy or a webinar or one of our live on-site classes. Yesterday we were in Sarasota. In the next few weeks we'll be doing many more webinars. We'll be doing the Constant Contact Academy. I'd encourage you to join us. But most of all, I encourage you to start today. I mean, really, take what you've learned today and give yourself an opportunity to do it and taste the fruits of your success. There are lots of free resources available. You'll get a copy of this in the email that I'll be sending you later on. I want to thank you for joining me today. By the way, if you need a speaker for an event, reach out to me. We do many events free of charge. You can get people to your association or even to your company, or maybe you're attending a trade show and you need a speaker at the event. Reach out to us. I'd be happy to talk to you. I have just dropped in the handouts box in your control panel a copy of today's presentation. So go ahead and you can access that if you'd like. I'll stand by and take questions from you. Once again, I want to thank you for attending today. We'll stop the recording and answer any questions for you. And I look forward to having you attend one of our future events. Thanks, everybody, for being